Okay, so today we're going to talk about 3 tips to make your renders look better. They're very easy. So first, let's take a look at this. This is the assignment I'm preparing, and as you can see, the colors kind of go together. Now this is what was provided, and I didn't touch this, but all the other items are go together, and that's because they're from a single palette, single color palette. And I got this tip when I was taking the beginning class, and my colors were a little wild, and the TA suggested I create a palette using one of these websites or tools. The one I am using for this is called Coolers, and we're going to bring it over right now. Okay, here's Coolers, and you can, these are my palettes. If you go to the root here, you see you can start explore trending. You can start the generator, and that'll just keep generating palettes until you find one that you like. Or go back. You can explore trending palettes. Now, it's kind of nice here. They give you a choice between 5-color palettes and these multicolor palettes that are tend to be I think it's 8 different colors, and you can see some of them. You notice how the colors all go together, and some of them are that you got hue, value, and intensity. Hue is the color. The color you is it red? Is it blue? Value is how light or dark, and intensity is how strong or not strong the color is. So you see they give you a variety of palettes. Some of them are within the same hue, like, or maybe 2 complementary hues. And then you got the 5-color ones. And what you can do is you can pick one, and you can say, you can either just use it, or you can say open in the generator. Now you have a generator, and you can just keep hitting it until you get what you like. I think 5 felt a little limiting to me, but once I had it, I didn't want to change it. So, and the nice thing is when you're working with a color, if you like go here, you can actually, let me see if I can pull this off. You can actually click here, and it helps if it's, yeah, it's not on the same, but you can actually go to the window. Let's see if I can do it this way. Here we go. Let's move this over here, and we'll move this over here, and you can see, you can actually see that, and you can pick the color directly from the palette using the color picker in Redshift. This is all Redshift. So that is the first thing. Create a palette for your project so that all the tools are in harmony. The second tip is, once you get a camera that you like, it's very easy to mess up your camera, and especially if you have something like this, you are you're moving things around. You know, you're holding the, you have this, and you're moving things. You can very easily move your camera, because if this is on, this little white light, this little white button this button is ticked on, which is white, and you start moving it, you are going to change your camera. If you do not want to do that, what you want to do is put a protection tag. Let me show you that. So it's under rigging, and this is another, I believe I got this at in the class as well. There's this little tag called protection. Yes, it's a rigging tag, but if you put it on your camera, let me go back to F1 here. Notice this light is on, but I have the protection tag. I cannot move this. This is not going to move. So if I want to move, I could turn the button off and then move however I'd like. Okay, and then I put it on and it goes right back to where it should be. So that's a very important tip, because it'll keep you from messing up your camera. Now the third tip is something I've learned recently, is clay. It's clay rendering to get your lighting and so on, your composition correct. Now I found the easiest way to do this is in the render settings right here. Under legacy, if you click material override and then notice it turned red. Let me get this out of the way. Now you can see here what this does essentially, and I think turning it red, or you don't have to, you can, if by default it's clay, it's gray. Let me show you that just so you know. But the red kind of brings things out a little more. This is similar to recommendation of when people do digital art, they'll often turn off the color in their piece so that they can see again the lighting, how that looks, the difference in values. Again, value is how light or dark, and you can see, for example, here you can see that this is probably not lit well enough. It's a little dark, so I see that. The other advantage is that it's quicker to render. But let me show you what I'm talking about with the colors. You see here it's red. By default, it is gray. And if I change it to gray, it will be gray. And you can see this is clearly lighter. Now it doesn't look too bad in red, but you can see it may be a little bit light. I don't think it's too bad. It doesn't look like it's blown out, especially when you look at it in red, or you look at it and it's in the official colors. And so this tells me I have to adjust my lighting to bring some more light here, maybe a little less light here. And that is your third tip. You use the clay render to set your composition, set your lighting, maybe even play with your colors a little bit. Now the colors I made for this piece are rather simple. We're going very deeply into this stuff starting tomorrow in the next assignment, the next week of class. But the most interesting one I made was for the bottle. You know what, I'm going to take this off so you can see this properly. Material override. Again, just turn that off and it's back to the colors that we got. So you see this is supposed to be like a plastic bag, and well, you don't really need this is the node grip, but you can look right here. I started with a plastic, default, and then I turned transmission all the way up, and that's how I got it to be clear. Now I may want to bring, as you can see, this is pretty reflective, and that may not be what I want. I may bring that down a bit, see what it looks like when it's not so reflective. Yeah, see, that's one nice thing about the this Redshift render view. One other thing to be aware of if you're using Redshift, as you about a couple of versions ago, maybe 20 or 24 or 25, they decided, I'm going to get this out of the way right now, they decided to take this out of the menu, which caused some, put in a little less visible place, which caused some confusion among users. But if you go into preferences and you go under render a Redshift, let's see, where's that little button here, Redshift main menu, and you can see I checked that on. That means when you set your render settings to Redshift, this little button will appear, this little menu will appear on top, and I think that's a lot easier. I don't have to, you don't have to be hunting for it or anything like that. So thing, I guess a little bonus tip here. So, use the protection tag to keep your camera where it goes. Create a color palette for your piece so that all your colors harmonize and don't clash with each other and stuff like that. And use the clay rendering to set your lighting, set your composition, and because using the clay render will point to areas of your render that may be too dark or too light, and allow you to adjust it. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful, and take care.